All right, there we are. Welcome, my friends, to essential oils and emotions. This is one that I get questions on quite a bit, just because they're so aromatic. People feel like they smell like a lavender or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, that smells so nice. I feel so relaxed." But so many people don't fully know exactly how it works or how it can actually support so many of our emotions. So thank you for being here with me tonight. And so I'm excited. And then if you guys do have any questions throughout the time, pop them in the chat and I will answer them at the end. So what we're going to go over, if my computer will not be slow, is here's what we're going to go over tonight. I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of background info. It's kind of a little bit about the body, so you really kind of have an understanding of why essential oils work and how they work. And then briefly talk about what oils are and why doTERRA. I'm going to have a couple people who already have products and who don't. So just going to cover the basics. And then specific oils for specific emotions, and how nutrition and oils can actually make a huge, huge difference in our mental health and emotions, all those kinds of things, and then how to get what you need. So it should take us hopefully about 30-45 minutes. I don't want to take too much of your time tonight, but we'll get started. So first off, you guys, when you smell absolutely anything, I wonder, have any of you guys had a situation where you walk in a room and you're like, oh my goodness, it smells like this. It reminds me of a time when I was blank, when I was like a kid or when I was whatever. Well, that's because of the way that this whole system works. Now, I'm not going to try and bore you fully with all this science stuff. I'm just going to give you some basics. So what happens is well, first let me tell you, there's one part of your brain called the amygdala, and it stores emotions and memories and all those kinds of things, in short. And then you also have the hypothalamus, which is kind of the control center, control and command center. So it'll turn on fight or flight or turn it off and send out just different, what they call ligands or messengers throughout your body to have different cellular responses, a lot of times based on emotions. Well, I didn't want to go that way. And so one thing that I'll go over this part in just a second, but humans can actually distinguish over 1 trillion different smells. So even, I mean, we always talk about, like, animals like dogs have a like very, very sensitive smell. So the fact that we can distinguish over 1 trillion, imagine how much they can. But the other thing is we have so many receptors in our nose called olfactory receptors, and we only have 3 different, I think it's 3 different types of eye receptors, and then we have feeling and stuff like that. So there's just a lot more receptors for smell that we have. So every smell makes a difference for our body. Anything we breathe in makes a difference. Not only in like our lung health, you think just we breathe stuff in and it's like our lungs basically, but it goes straight to your brain. So if we look at this really quick, this right here, you breathe in, and then the little molecules of smell or whatever's in the air bind to these little receptors, and then they go straight up into your brain right here. And they'll go to the limbic system, or the amygdala, which is part of that limbic system. So that's how smells can be associated with memories. And so once it goes to that amygdala, it'll go to the hypothalamus, which then says fight or flight, or rest and recover, or things like that, through the pituitary gland, and that's your little responses down there. Now, the other thing I want to touch on, background info, is the gut-brain connection. Sorry. It is so big, and more science is continually coming out that shows how our gut affects our brain and how our brain affects our gut. I mean, I feel like I'm not alone in this. When you get really nervous to go do something, and you feel in your gut, like the butterflies everybody talks about. That's like very real, and that's because things are actual chemical reactions are happening in your gut, and those kinds of things. So nutritional deficiencies and imbalance in your microbiome, which is the good bacteria in your gut, and then toxicity and a couple other things play a major role in your emotions. Now, something interesting is you actually produce 80 to 90% of serotonin in your gut. So many things and medications and other things are always focused on trying to fix it in our brain, when in reality, if we fix our gut, then you can actually fix those serotonin levels really well to then affect your brain. And so the other thing that I tell people all the time is omega-3s or omega-9s and 6s are huge for brain health. Your brain is made up of 70% fat, and a lot of it is these specific omega-3 fatty acids that make up those nerves. So if you don't have them, things don't fire in your brain correctly or even as efficiently. And then B vitamins, all about how things are energy. So it's going to even be energy in your neurons and all of your cells. And then, like we said, probiotics really need to reset, because if we have good bacteria, it produces other good chemicals in our body that our brain needs. And then if we have an imbalance where there's the unhealthy, even like candida, which is like a fungus, or parasites and things like that, those can those can sometimes even cause depression and anxiety. And so that's why we really have to rebalance the gut a lot of times to really get the emotions and brain health that we're really looking for. The other thing is a lot of processed foods will throw off that microbiome. And so that's where you get the overgrowth of bad bacteria or candida or other things. And so we really need to, again, eat real foods, vegetables. I promise you, if you do a little bit, your body will start to like it. You'll probably detoxify a little bit, and that's why you don't like it. But even detoxing and having real foods and using other herbs or essential oils or things like that to clean out your system will even help with things like brain fog or energy, along with even depression, anxiety, overwhelm, those kinds of things. So hopefully you guys are still tracking with me. I haven't seen anything pop up in the chat, so we'll just keep moving along. So really quick, for those of you who don't know what essential oils are, if you can see my screen, right here is a magnified peppermint leaf. And if you magnify like different plants, this one specifically peppermint, you'll find there's little sacs of oil all around on that leaf. Now those sacs of oil on the plant are meant to protect it from predators, help against immunity. If it gets hurt or broken or whatever, it helps it to rebuild itself. And so what we do, like humans, is we extract those naturally, like safe and slowly, so that they don't get ruined, into the little, even here, peppermint bottle right here, to the bottles that you can get. Now essential oils are really cool, and this is where it can really help also with brain health, is the fact that they can cross, a lot of them can cross the blood-brain barrier, and they can also cross cell membranes, because the chemical constituents in them that are natural are so small they can go through there. And because they're plants, our body recognizes them super well and uses them really well. But not all essential oils are made the same. And so you guys, we have to, if you're going to use essential oils, I always recommend that you use certified pure therapeutic grade oils. Now doTERRA is the only company that does that. And what that little tag means is that, one, they source the oils from the plants wherever they grow the best, so around the world. Also impacts a lot of different families, cultures, countries, those kinds of things. But then they test their oils themselves but then they send it to another lab and they do 11 different tests. They do, the other company does, or other lab does 11 different tests. There's not a single essential oil company that is that transparent, that does that much to make sure that their oils are pure. And so that's how these oils can be so potent and so effective. So some people will say, oh, I've used a lavender before from the store and I didn't notice anything. Well, my answer to that is it's probably adulterated and it's not natural and it's not probably pure and potent, because essential oils don't have to be regulated. So there's no one saying that you can or can't. So that's why quality is really, really important when you're going to use oils, especially if you're going to take them internally. Don't take oils internally unless they're these oils. And so that's kind of the gist of that one. Really quick, what I'll say too is essential oils, you can use them aromatically, like in a diffuser, or put a drop in your hand and breathe it in. Or you can put them on topically. I'll show you guys a lot. I like to use the back of my neck, bottoms of the feet are really good, and different parts of the body as well. Or you can take them internally. And so that's kind of the basic ways to use them. I'll kind of talk about more with some of the specifics, what we can do. But it looks like, all right, there we go. Okay, so what I want to go over really quick, I'll get answers or questions at the end, but I want to talk about a couple major things that I think most people need to deal with when we talk emotions in essential oils. Now, these are some of my favorite ones and ones that work really well for a lot of other people. And so when we're dealing with anxiety or overwhelm, something like that, your favorite oils, or the best oils so far, like at the beginning, is going to be a lavender, frankincense. Those are like the two pure oils. Lavender has oils that help with serotonin levels, so that would be also more depression too. But you can, again, diffuse that. You can put it in your hand and breathe it in, or you can rub it on the back of your neck. One, you'll start to smell it and get that response that we talked about earlier, and it'll send it to your brain, and your brain will release hormones and messengers that will start to calm you down. Now, for people who have like anxiety attacks and things like that, frankincense and then another oil, copaiba, are really, really, really good for that. So I know people who, if they start to have a panic attack, there's a nurse that I know back in Waco, that if she gets a panic attack, she will put a drop of frankincense on her thumb and push it to the roof of her mouth, and it helps, and it like really, in a big way, helps bring that anxiety down. Mostly because, like we said, those receptors in your nose and then in your brain go really quickly and send that response really fast. People will use copaiba for that, breathe that one in. My personal favorite is Balance. I fall under this overwhelm and anxiety category more often than anything else. And Balance is the one that helps me the most. What I will do, I wonder if I have it on here. I will put a drop in my hands and rub it together, and then I rub it on the back of my neck, because your spinal cord's right back there, so it'll get into that spinal cord. Your skin will soak it in, and then I breathe it in, like cut my hands and breathe it in. And that honestly makes me feel like, oh, I am back on planet Earth. I'm going to be okay. We can get these things done, those kinds of things. Now I'll talk about the line that doTERRA has for emotions here in a second, and that's where Peace and Console come in. They're specific blends by doTERRA that will help bring you down, and Console is one that if you're feeling like sad and overwhelmed in that sense, Console is going to be a good one for you. Now citrus oils also, like a wild orange or a lemon. I love Citrus Bliss. It's a blend, again, of oils, also mainly citrus. And citrus oils are your happy oils, so you can diffuse them And when you breathe them in, it'll uplift your mood. And so a lot of times diffusing something like a lavender or frankincense or something like a lavender or lemon or something will, one, calm you down, but uplift your mood. It's not that citrus oils are like energizing, so it's not going to like stimulate you. They just uplift your mood. And then depression or sadness or something along those lines are going to be frankincense. Frankincense, again, is just a go-to oil for so many things. Frankincense and copaiba are the main oils for just the single oils. And now, honestly, depression and sadness, mostly depression, if you're going through that, the kit that I'll show you here in a second, you're going to probably want to use all of those at some point. There's one that's called Cheer, and that's going to be an uplifting blend again. There's one that's called Motivate, because we all know when we're sad and we don't feel like anything's going to work out, we aren't motivated to do anything. Peace, for when, again, overwhelm or those kinds of things. If it's situational, sometimes Forgive, it's more of a releasing oil. I'll show you it in a second. And then lazy and unmotivated, this is also one of them that I use, but peppermint is one of the main oils for that, just because, or any mint oils, mostly peppermint. But again, I have peppermint right here and I put it in my water. It's also good for digestion. But I put it in my water because, one, I'll breathe it in as I drink, and it brings 10% more oxygen to my brain. So I'm a little bit more alert, a little bit more awake, able to remember things a little bit better. And then citrus oils, always uplifting, helpful. For me, a lot of times if I'm lazy and unmotivated, it's probably because I'm a little bit overwhelmed as well. So personally, I mix Balance with a citrus oil or either Cheer or Motivate. Again, those are kind of in the name, uplifting, motivational. So here's what I was talking about. So doTERRA has made this little wheel of emotions. And it's really cool because if you're like, well, I don't know if I don't personally have all of these oils, it's also helpful to know, like, oh, if I'm feeling, discouraged or gloomy or something like that, I'm looking for a citrus oil. Or if I am feeling, these kinds of things, disinterested, bored, spicy oils are going to be good. So on and so forth. Motivate, obviously, is what they call it, the encouraging blend. So this is one I'll use if I don't want to work out. I have a little roller bottle of it. And it also helps a ton with like increasing confidence, which is also really nice for when we have to go do hard things. We want to be able to believe I can do hard things. And then this one right here, Cheer, again, uplifts attitude and mood and happiness, positivity, those kinds of things. And again, these things work because when you're smelling them and it's going to the olfactory receptors, which goes straight to your brain, then to the rest of your body. And then right down here, Passion is the inspiring blend. There's a lot of different uses for passion. Obviously, excitement, willingness is what this one says. Again, really, really good oil. Right here is Forgive. We all need this oil at some point in our life, right? So whether it's for ourselves or for somebody else. It's just a more of like a releasing, renewing kind of blend. Believe it or not, these oils can help release those things in your brain. Again, it's not going to do the work for you. You're still going to have to make choices and learn to kind of shift some thoughts, but these help to steer you in that right direction. And then right here, Console is a great one for a lot of times if people have just had any sort of traumatic event or a loss or something along those lines. Console is a really, really good oil for those things. Or if things just aren't really going your way, financial stress after another, or just anything that life throws at you. Again, really helpful. Peace, obviously composure, bringing you down to planet Earth, reducing anxiety. I also really like to use this oil for sleep. I diffuse it at night sometimes for sleep. And so again, a really, really good oil. You can get these in packs, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. All right, now I want to move on a little bit in talking about emotions and brain health and stuff with the gut. I already told you guys a lot of how the gut and how we're digesting food, how we're breaking things down really, really affects our brain and how we're operating in life. So, number one thing that I tell people all the time right here is this Lifelong Vitality Pack. I have heard story after story of people who have struggled with anxiety and depression who get on these supplements, even slowly if they have to, and then eventually with their doctor get themselves off of some depression and anxiety meds. And a lot of times they're doing a couple other things as well, but I will even say for myself, I ran out of my Vitality Pack just a couple days ago, and the first thing I noticed was I was a little bit more irritable, less patient, and all of just like the brain stuff. And even so, I think starting to believe, oh, I can't, or just those things. Yes, a lot of it's mind work and belief, but also there's a big role that physicality plays in that. So let me just tell you really what they are. The Microplex right there is a food. It's basically a multivitamin, but it's all in the form that your body most readily absorbs. So it's very bioavailable. So you'll have the B vitamins, the A and D and calcium, minerals, and they're all in this what's called a glycoprotein matrix. So your body, some science nerds are going to love that. Some are going to be like, what the heck does that mean? It's okay. Anyways, really what it means is your body readily absorbs it. 2, right here is that omega-3. And I told you guys earlier, omega-3s are the #1 thing that will cause a lot of like depression or anxiety or things like that. I saw a study the other day that said 99% of people are deficient in omega-3s. It's basically everybody. So we all need that. The cool thing about this one too is it has frankincense and a couple other oils in it. And like we said, frankincense is so good for the depression and anxiety and the overwhelm and just the emotions that come up. So it already has that in it, so you're already starting to fight that kind of things with this, and then a couple other oils as well. Now the third one right here is called Alpha CRS, and that is your like cellular boost supplement. So it has herbs in it that will help you help your body to detox of a lot of stuff. Like we said, toxicity plays a big role, and especially in our guts, and how we think. So it helps detox, but then it also gives you a little bit more energy and clearer cells so that you function better. So that's how that one can help a ton with emotions and mental health. Now, the other things that I suggest a lot for people, I have on here frankincense. We already talked about that too, but frankincense also is your cellular health oil. So it's super regenerative, and just one of those oils, like a drop of frankincense a day. Instead, I would say keeps the doctor away. But anyways, it's a really good oil for that. The other one I really want to touch on is Digestin. Digestin is an oil. You can also get it in a little soft gel if you want, but Digestin is an oil that is literally all things digestive. Obviously, it's in the name. So, one, if people have issues of like indigestion, nausea, let's see, even like acid reflux, constipation, diarrhea, all of those things, this oil helps that. But the other thing that it does is it If you take it daily, it really helps keep things moving. It helps regenerating. So a lot of people have what's called leaky gut. It sounds disgusting because it kind of is, but the cells, your cells are lined up like this and they're supposed to be here. Sometimes they come apart because these things, they're called junctions. They fall apart. So just food, undigested food goes through here, and then that's what causes a lot of toxicity. This oil can help repair that. It has peppermint in it right here. Peppermint is another really good digestive oil. Keep things more regulated. Has ginger in it, really calming to the stomach. And then a couple other ones like fennel, and then I want to say cardamom, but I'm not 100% on that. Anyways, it's just a blend and it helps a lot. Now, the other thing I'll tell people right here is the PB Assist, which is a probiotic that we said we want proper microbiome in our gut. So this is what helps it do that. The reason this one's different is it's double encapsulated. So when it goes in, a lot of times everything in your stomach starts to get broken up, but it's supposed to be. The acid will break it all apart and stuff like that. The acid can kill off good bacteria, but because this is double encapsulated and it has some like gel around it, it actually gets to your intestines where it needs to be, and then it will help flourish the good bacteria, which will then kill off some of the bad. I also suggest a lot of detox stuff for that, but the other one right here is Terrazyme. Now, taking Terrazyme with food will help you break down your food so you're actually getting the nutrients you need to support your emotions and your brain. Now, after 30, our digestive enzymes start to decrease. So, supporting with an enzyme is really, really important. Did a lot of work in Waco with a lot of people on testing. Almost everybody was always low in enzymes again. So, again, if we're trying to just get all the things from our food that we're already eating, Terrazyme is going to be a big one. Now, for those of you who are already on my team and have oils, in the month of April, we are going to do a cleanse as a team, and there's going to be different levels of it. I'll talk about it later, just letting you know. But a lot of these products are in that, and if you really do struggle a lot with emotions and things like that, and mental health, I highly, highly suggest you try it, even to some degree, because cleanses can be huge in helping the brain and getting the food that you need, again, helping emotions in the brain. So, really quick, for those of you who are on here who do not have these oils yet, or even a wholesale account with doTERRA, I want to first show you how you can get that. So you have 3 options. One, you can buy at retail, and I don't suggest that to anybody really because it's 25% more for all your oils, and then there's not really any education perks I can give you for that, or doTERRA. So you can do that, and if you want to, you let me know and I can help you get it. Or you can purchase a wholesale membership for $35, and all of your oils then, whenever you want them, it's like a Costco or a Sam's Club membership. Everything is 25% off. And then once you get your oils, I help you figure out how to use them, all the other uses that you can get from them. And then you get access to a lot of free education and events, those kinds of things. Or you can purchase a kit. When you purchase a kit, that $35 fee is waived, and you get extra discount on all of those 25% off already oils, plus all the other things I just said with the wholesale membership. So some of the options that you have are right here. The other thing I will say really quick, On Guard stuff, I should have mentioned this, but On Guard is another oil. Why? Because it protects your immune system, and if we're sick all the time, emotions run with it. So using daily, if you have immune problems and you're sick constantly, one, getting your microbiome set with that probiotic, And then 2, using some sort of on guard, whether that means you're taking it internally or putting it on your feet every day. Highly suggest that. Anyways, just thought of that as I saw some of these. But couple options. Right here is the one that kit that I talked about, or the line of doTERRA that has the peace and the console, the forgive, cheer, motivate. I think that's all of them. I think I said all of them. But anyways, you can get them all in these small 5 milliliter bottles. Here's my cheer. Anytime you order any of these from doTERRA, they're going to be in this small little 5 milliliter bottle, unless you get the touch. I'll show you that in a second. But anyways, this Lumo diffuser is the best diffuser doTERRA has, in my opinion. It can go up to 10 hours. But anyways, that one's $195, and you save almost $70 with that. If you want to just be like, I want all the toxins out of my life, I want to reset, recharge, I suggest the Natural Solutions. And then if you're like, well, I want some emotional help and then some other things, then I would look at the Home Essentials or Family Essentials kits. Right there on the screen. Home Essentials, you're going to get more, you're going to save more, and they're in the big bottles, whereas the Family Essentials doesn't have a diffuser, and they're all in the small bottles as well. But you'll get the lavender and the frankincense, which are the biggest, and the peppermint, which are the biggest emotional help oils. But again, just do what you need, do what's best for you guys. That's really, really what I want for everybody. Now, if you already have oils and you're like, well, I want to kind of get some of these or up my ante in some of them, 1, Vitality Pack. 2, right here, if you already have an account, you can get this right here, which is the Emotional Aromatherapy Kit. And if you don't want just to be able to diffuse them, if you want to be able to roll them on, put them on the back of your neck like I talked about a little bit, then this is the one for you. I have Cheer and Motivate, and I love them in the roller bottles because I can throw it on the back of my neck. Fun fact, ladies, if you put some in your hands and then put it in your hair, you'll smell it a lot too. And then the coconut oil is good for your hair. That's what I like to do. So you can get that. Copaiba soft gels. I talked about the Copaiba being really good for any anxiety or depression. It's just an overall another really good oil like a frankincense, so you can take that in the soft gel. And then a lot of other people, I didn't talk as much about this oil, but Serenity is a it's called the Restful Blend, and right here is a complex one that you can actually take internally. The oil you cannot. But again, this one's going to be really calming, relaxing, helpful for sleep. If you are someone who can't go to sleep because of emotions or so many things are on your mind, or you just want something to smell really good when you go to sleep, Serenity is your oil. And then these Serenity soft gels can help a ton. It has L-theanine, I believe, which is just a protein that helps speed up the process to help you go to bed. So, you guys, that is most of what I have. What I will do is send you guys, anybody who joined, a Google Doc or a Google form, which is just a little survey, just because I want to know what was helpful for you, and then what you're thinking if you need oils or you need more help. I did have a chat question, so I really want to check that out in just a second. But I'm going to stop the recording and then answer those questions. So one moment.